everybody. I am Hoardergamer, and this is Hoarder's Comic Flex. Let me make sure we have audio. Computer had to do an update, and when it does that, some wacky things can happen. So, we might have a slightly better video quality now. I'm in 1080p. Figured I would try 1080p out on YouTube for Hoarder's Comic Flex. Thank you for everybody that, joins live or, watches at your own leisure. Thank you. Thank you very much. We review comic books. We talk about toys. We're going to be talking about Gotham Knights, which is going to be fun. Hopefully a bit of a Gotham Knights discussion coming up shortly. And then we go all the way into the future. We look at the future of comics all the way to 1 week from today. An entire week. We look at 1 week into the future. So yeah, I had to change the camera setting a bit and then change like the stream settings. So hopefully this looks good. Hopefully this is doable or enjoyable for people. First off, we're going to start our first comic book review today. Venom, right here. This is Venom 11. It sounds like 7-Eleven, but it's Venom 11. And it's pretty wild. In case you didn't know, Eddie Brock is no longer the Venom of, I guess you'd say, Earth. He's in some weird place with a whole mess of symbiotes. And in issue 10, we got a lot of craziness. Good stuff, but crazy. And here we have Dylan Brock, Eddie's son, basically in a coma, near death, and his consciousness is inside a symbiote itself. Also, the cat-type symbiote, I forget the name of it, I apologize, that Donny Cates had in his run. That symbiote has gone into a friend of Flash Thompson as like a sleeper agent. A Venom sleeper agent to keep Dylan safe. The Life Foundation basically has Dylan right now, and they're not a good corporation. If you've been reading Marvel Comics, the Life Foundation is kind of sketchy. And in issue 10, it was wild because you found out there's this guy named Imperius, and he is Eddie Brock. And all these other symbiotes that Eddie is with are different Eddies throughout time and space. Like the future of Eddie, and at some point he becomes completely monstrous, and it's pretty interesting. And what they're doing with these different Eddie Brocks throughout time is similar to the whole idea of Kang. Especially with them, like, having all these machinations, all these things that they're doing in the background, and knowing, like, how things are going to go in the future. But yeah, Ram V and L. Ewing are the current writers of Venom. And it's actually one of my favorite books. So, yes, it can get a bit confusing, especially with all the different Venoms, because there's a lot of them. Hero, good to see you. How you doing, Hero? Hero, you got the message. My guilt trip worked. Guilt trip to play Avengers does not work with Hero, but to watch some awesome entertainment and learn about comics and all sorts of neat things like that, it does. For that, it does. And my new thing is actually to remove the book after we reviewed it. So that was our first review, everybody. Venom 11, very good. Like, the story's getting far more interesting and crazier as it goes. Ram V and L. Ewing, two of the best writers in comics, very enjoyable, and they had a lot to deal with taking over from Donny Cates, because Donny Cates created one of the best runs of Venom, like, of all time. I would not call it spam. I would not say that a single tweet is spam. Perhaps a series of 10 tweets would be a spam thing. Never have to restart checkpoint watching my series. That's true. That's true. You don't have to restart the checkpoint. You don't have to wait for a drip feed of story. These things are true. So, let's talk a little bit about She-Hulk. Did everyone catch the newest episode? If you're a fan of Daredevil, it is a must-see episode. I feel that all the episodes of She-Hulk have been must-see so far, but Daredevil and She-Hulk are a awesome combination. And it was kind of like, it's still the lawyer show, it's still She-Hulk's show, but you get a lot of Daredevil in it. Soon Miller will leak my series. But it's not that exciting. Like, I don't have, like, a lot of cool different skins. I just have this one. Although it's Halloween, maybe I'll do, like, a Hellraiser and take my face off. No, I'm not going to do that. Promo for the new Hellraiser movie. I'll just peel my face off. Or maybe, like, pins will fly into my face. Segmenting it. Just like in the movie. Yes, it might. It might. It might. So I probably should not do that. But did everyone else like it? Did everyone enjoy the She-Hulk episode? I believe the finale is tomorrow, right? Or super, super, super late tonight. This show starts at Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central, so like, you know, early Thursday morning, super, super late Wednesday night. Me too. I'm also loving it. And like I've mentioned before, Tatiana Maslany is amazing as She-Hulk. She gives a great performance. She's an Emmy-winning actress. She was great on Orphan Black, and she's great here. Tomorrow is the finale. Expect spoilers 40 minutes after midnight. Yeah, it almost makes me want to stay up. The problem is if I start something even like 30, 40 minutes after 2, I'm probably going to fall asleep during it. Remember, I'm Twitch elderly. I'm 45, so I'm Twitch elderly. Just learned she is from Regina, Saskatchewan. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I knew she was Canadian because that's where the show was shot, and I knew it was mostly a Canadian cast for Orphan Black. Matt Frewer, also Canadian? Am I correct on that? I love that name. I love that that's a real name. She loves to visit Banff. Hold on, we need a little reverb. She loves to visit Banff. It reminds me of Batman 66, that word. Like bam, pow, zowie, Banff. The fact that there's 2 F's is phenomenal. Like, that is just... When I first heard of Banff, I didn't even know it was a real thing. I thought it was like a production company that some company used. You do say with that amount of intensity, that's good. You should. You should. That is a powerful name. Words have power, like Shazam. You say Banff and you become like a location in Canada. Enjoying the series even with the flaws that people point out on internet? Oh man, the internet is like... 9 Inch Nails' first album was pretty hate machine. And I would say the internet is like a not so pretty hate machine. It's like... It's an anger machine. It's an ignorance machine. A lot of hate. A lot of, you know... As Black Eyed Peas said, where is the love? Where's the love? Tell me, Will.i.am, where is it? But yeah, I thought they did a great job with Daredevil. And yeah, I mean, fans are looking forward to that new series or mini-series, whatever it is exactly. It should be great. I'm guessing it's next year. People expect the endgame quality in a yes, because that they pitched it as Boston Legal with superheroes. Like when they first really started talking about it, they're like, it's Boston Legal with superheroes. And yeah, that's very much what this is like. That was kind of like the was it Private Practice? Was that it? Was that the original show? I'm trying to remember the first show because Boston Legal was a spin-off of it. And it was kind of like the slightly more deceptive lawyers. And it was a bit of more of almost a dark comedy. But yeah, it was good. I've seen a lot of episodes of Boston Legal. James Spader was on it. But yeah, I've been happy with it, and I feel the advertisements and like what they talked about is very close to what it actually is. So, you know, I feel that they've lived up to that. Been a lot of fun little surprises like Madison Wongers. I would say we're pretty much done though with our discussion on She-Hulk. So that means it's time for another discussion, everybody. A little game by the name of Gotham Knights, which comes out, wait for it, next Friday. Only like a week and 3 days. Wait, week and 2 days? I guess, do I include Wednesday? A week and 2 days or a week and 3 days, whichever way you want to look at it. But it's next Friday, not this Friday. And yeah, I'm very excited for it. There was an AMA. It was not a actual AMA. They did something on the Gotham Knights official Discord where they answered a number of questions. They answered quite a few questions. Give me 1 second here. I know a few things I can mention from the AMI out of the top of my head. Not all of it. First off, one thing that I thought was really cool, and you know, I believe in representation. I recently on social media just came out yesterday as bisexual. Tim Drake is going to be bisexual, and I thought that was cool. And their answer was, he is in the comic books. He should be in the game, and I agree with that. And that was a cool thing to hear. Let's see. I know that someone put this information down. There's no way that no one documented this. Okay, I got it. Okay, this is getting hilarious. I don't know what people were doing that no one had this. This should be like the top thing in the Reddit subreddit for Gotham Knights. Like, I'm amazed that it isn't. But here's a couple interesting things. The Batbike is going to have 3 skins at launch. And it's going to have quite a few different colorway options. So it's going to have 3 skins. Now this was an interesting question. Someone was like, are there going to be other like villain stories or things like that? And the way they phrased the answer made it seem like there's only going to be these huge, robust villain stories for Harley Quinn, Clayface, and Mr. Freeze. Now, there's chatter that we've seen in previews, like people talking in the streets and stuff. Like someone mentioned something that sounds like Killer Croc, and apparently there's something having to do like an Easter egg or something with like Man-Bat. Now, Kirk Langstrom supposedly is dead in that first 14 minutes of gameplay we saw with Batgirl. Apparently his body is taken away in an ambulance and he's supposedly dead. Well, Kirk Langstrom is Man-Bat. And they have a body in their body bag, but we don't see it. He could very well be alive. I'm thinking that we might see a number of villains that team up with the Court, maybe, or with other villains. I really would be shocked if all we had were those 3 villains besides the Court of Owls. Unless they have a plan like DLC would be like villains coming to town. That's what I thought would be a really neat way to go about it. You know, you have all this time and effort put into the game, all these different abilities and characters to play as, you know, the 4 members of the Bat family, and what? It's like this basically becomes like a platform that you could use, and I think that makes sense. Like, maybe that's crazy, but I think that makes sense. They talked about how playing through the game once, you'll get like the entire story, but you won't get all the angles because it's different playing with the different members of the Bat family. You'll have like different cinemas, different lines of dialogue. Certain things will be a little bit different, but overall the story will be the same. So they did recommend playing through the game more than once. Now, one thing that was neat about this is they had all the questions ahead of time on the Discord, and they might have even taken some of them from Twitter. I'm not exactly sure. But what was nice about that is that it let them just focus on answering these questions and not have hundreds and thousands of questions showing up as they're trying to tell us things. Because that just becomes madness. Like, the AMAs are like usually, 45 minutes, an hour, and it can take like 3-4 hours just to pour through all the different comments and everything. So that's pretty wild. Is everyone excited for Gotham Knights? In case you didn't know, I am. I'm very excited for Gotham Knights. Now, here we go. Here's the specific question that they answered, okay? Listen to this, everybody. How many villain stories will we have? Not villains. How many villain stories will we have? Is it going to be just Mr. Freeze, Harley Quinn, and Clayface? Are we potentially going to see more? And then they mention our trio of rogues gallery all have some unfinished business with our heroes. But don't forget, we have the Court of Owls as our main threat. And then, let's see, with all of them running amok in Gotham, Bat Family is going to have their hands full. Then they talk more about those being character arcs. But again, with that question asking about villain stories, to me that seems like a villain could show up and it could be a one-off. That other villains could indeed be in Gotham. That's just the way I'm reading that question and the answer. Awesome, Wacko. How you doing? I have mine pre-ordered. Next week is going to be really rough, though, because, like, I hope that Gotham Knights has good pre-orders. I hope it sells well, because it's got a lot of competition. Ghostbusters comes out, I want to say, on Tuesday. Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed, which looks like a really good asymmetrical... you know, I don't want to say horror game. It's not really horror. Asymmetrical game. We'll just say. I don't think the game will be pure comedy, so it's not comedy either, but yeah, I'm a huge Ghostbusters fan. I think that's really cool. And they have the advantage of their retail price being like $39.99. as opposed to Gotham Knights, which in the US is like $79.99 basic. And I'm sorry, $69.99 basic price. And then there's like a deluxe version, which is, I think, $89.99? $99.99? I know, Ghostbusters looks awesome. Doom, how you doing? A horror game based on Hoardergamer. Yes. Hoardergamer. There, that would be the super clever name, Alaris. But yeah, so that's Ghostbusters and Gotham Knights. Also next Tuesday is A Plague Tale Requiem. And A Plague Tale Innocence, I played through that twice. That was an amazing game. That was on a number of top 10 lists the year it came out. I want to say it was 2019. I honestly think this new one will be on even more top 10 lists. I saw 12 minutes of footage from it. So, Gotham Knights has competition, you know? But I'm very excited for it. Everybody, did everybody check out the question and answer session from Gotham Knights? What were your favorite answers today? Again, the way they asked the question about villains, asking about villain stories, makes me think there could be other villains that have one-off missions. Or maybe fetch quests or something. Because that wouldn't be the same as their huge, complicated, multi-mission stories that they're doing for Harley Quinn, Mr. Freeze, and Clayface. I'm not crazy, right? In the previews we saw, there was some sort of mention of like a giant creature in the sewer or a giant alligator or something. I could have sworn there was something that sounded like it was Killer Croc. Hey Kiki, how you doing? No, that's okay. You don't have to be sorry, Alaris. They mentioned dungeons. Yeah, that's true. They did mention dungeons. That could be a court thing, though. It's not really a spoiler, but there's something called the Labyrinth in the Court of Owls comic book. And I would be shocked if that's not in this game. I would be shocked and disappointed. Especially because one of the behind-the-scenes videos they did showed scenes from Batman in the Labyrinth. Now, I'm not saying Batman's alive. I don't know. I don't think he is. I'm trying to avoid big spoilers, so. No competition for Gotham Knights. Well, for superhero fans, definitely not. I'll agree with you there. But but Doom, if we're talking gaming public, just the universal gaming public. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to Gotham Knights very much. I've had the collector's edition pre-ordered for a while, since I think May or June. Watching Sadat's coverage, awesome. Sadat is awesome, very cool. I saw that Slipshock did a video as well. I was working on the show, so I didn't have time to check it out, but I will check it out later. I'm really looking forward to the Clayface storyline, because I hope it's about him like being the tortured actor and everything. They could do some really cool things there. That would be also a super clever way to have other villains show up. Have it not be that villain, have it just be Clayface. You know? Batman dead? Really? Nah. I don't know, Doom. They're really trying to sell it, right? Like, whether he is or not, they are so trying to sell that he is. Like, but again, we got to keep in mind, Court of Owls comic book, The Talons are dead themselves. So, and they're not like mindless zombies. So you'd have a terrifying version of Bruce that would be like totally bent on eradicating his kids, basically. I mean, I know Batgirl isn't actually his daughter or anything, but you know what I mean. It's the Bat family. I know, but like on some level too, right? If they're trying to sell this, if it turns out, nah, he's alive, he's totally alive, then it's like you're liars now. I understand what you were doing for Gotham Knights, but there were people that called Rocksteady liars with what was it? What was it that they did with Rocksteady did? Who did they say? There's a whole situation where like, no. Oh, the Arkham Knight. The Arkham Knight. The identity of the Arkham Knight. Going to watch others play Gotham Knights but not getting it. Misplaced, you're not getting it? I know, I look forward to exploring the world it takes place in. They have a really cool version of Gotham I'm looking forward to. They have their own vision of Gotham. And I'm hoping it's a little bit Metroidvania, because definitely the Arkham games were. Especially Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. Technically they all are, but Arkham Knight felt a bit more expansive, and it was certain smaller locations that would be like Metroidvania-like. In the gameplay, we've seen them go through vents. So it could be possible that there's like cool hidden rooms and stuff to find. There's enough collectibles. Someone leaked, I think, no, maybe they didn't leak it. It might have been just a screenshot, actually, from one of the previews. And they were able to show like some of the collectibles that you can get. Only played one Arkham game, and I think it was on PS2 years ago. Doom! You're trying to kill me! I just did Arkham Asylum on stream. It's an astounding game. That's like 2009, that one. And then like 6 months ago, I did Arkham City. I keep moving around to the different Arkham games. Unfortunately, on PlayStation, Origins is a bit of a nightmare. Like, you can kind of stream it, but the technology isn't great. It doesn't feel fantastic to play. Yeah, you can, but do you want to? Meanwhile, with the Xbox, if you have a copy of Origins, like on disc, you can play that. The multiplayer's gone, though. They took that out, but... Although, there's some weirdness where someone was like, they got it back, but I don't know what all that is. I won't get into that. We're not talking about Arkham Origins. We're talking about Gotham Knights. Had to choose what you're most likely to play, what in Ghostbusters more. Well, you know what? It's the excitement of making your own Ghostbuster, right? Like, how cool is that you get to make your own Ghostbuster? I didn't know they would do that. Like, I loved the Ghostbusters game that came out initially on PS3 and 360. Then they brought it to PS4 and Xbox One. I loved that game. But you were the new guy. You were like a specific avatar of like a new member of the Ghostbusters. You didn't get to make up your outfit. You didn't get to make up, like, you know, yourself in the game. That would have been really cool if you could. But that's a great game, everybody, if you haven't played it. I think you can get it for like 15 to 20 bucks. It's technically the sequel to Ghostbusters 2. Although, I don't know how that all gels with Afterlife. Because Afterlife, as a movie goes, is technically the sequel to Ghostbusters 2. But Doom, you are definitely getting Gotham Knights, right? Doom is like, Hoarder, tell me more of your favorite games so I could laugh and say I never played them. Yeah, Ghostbusters is going to be great, and I believe it's crossplay. Unfortunately, everybody, Gotham Knights is not crossplay. However, they said it will not be crossplay at launch in the FAQ. They're leaving the smallest chance of wiggle room there for maybe it being added. It wasn't an answer like no. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, is this going to be in there? And they're like, no. Who's everyone starting out with for Gotham Knights? I'm going with Red Hood or Batgirl. I'm not sure which, but my plan is to main both of them. I don't know 100% who I will start with on my first, character, I guess we'll say. I think it might be Red Hood. I like his brashness. I like that he's, he shoots people. Not fatally. He doesn't have actual, like regular bullets. He's got special bullets that he uses. But apparently, there's a whole, fight inside him where he wants to unleash what he was. But he's fighting against that because he wants to honor the memory of Bruce, who is possibly dead. Is it free to play? Which game, Mike? Neither Ghostbusters nor Gotham Knights is free to play. Neither is free to play. Oh, also, if you haven't seen it, everybody, there's an awesome, 2.5 minute CG trailer that's the cinematic launch trailer for Gotham Knights. It came out, I think, yesterday or the day before, and it is so good. Definitely check it out. Sounds like a Linkin Park song. Mike, who are you going to play in Gotham Knights? Doom is not mentioned if he's going to be getting Gotham Knights. I'm getting scared. I'm getting scared. The Riddler. You can't play as the Riddler. Your choices are Batgirl, Robin, Nightwing, and Red Hood. You cannot play as the Riddler. You run around twirling your cane and throwing riddles everywhere. Is that what you would do? On PC you can mod and play. Wow. Okay. Let's cheat. I asked about the 4 characters in game, and you're like, you can mod and play as anyone. Peacemaker is not one of the 4 members of the Bat family, although that would be insane if he was. Well, Bruce wouldn't have stood for that. He had issues with Red Hood. You think he's not going to have issues with Peacemaker? That's why he's dead. Again, everybody, though, if you did see that awesome CG trailer, at the end, you see the Talons, marching like an army, and you see somebody with military medals on their chest in a really nice looking jacket and a gold owl mask. I think it's Jacob Kane. I think it's Batwoman's father. Because keep in mind, the 5 founding families are Wayne, Kane, Cobblepot, Arkham, Elliot. So when they showed like those main members, my thought was Tommy Elliot, descendant of the Arkham family. I don't know the name. And then Jacob Kane. Because as far as we know, Penguin wants nothing to do with the court, but that could also be a clever ruse. And the Penguin's like, hey, I'll use the Bat family, or like, you know, the Robins and Batgirl and Red Hood. I'm going to use them in order to remove the threat to me. So then Gotham could be mine. That's a possibility too. Why didn't they show in-game graphics? Seems like, no, the in-game graphics are amazing, but a lot of games just decide to have really expensive CG trailers. That's just what happens. Launch trailers are usually fully CG. Do you think Gotham Knights will be more or less popular than Marvel's Avengers? That's a good question. I think it will take a number of players away from Marvel's Avengers when it launches. I don't know if it will have the type of staying power for like 2 years. Unless they constantly have, you know, DLC released for the game or something. If they actually pull an Assassin's Creed and have these huge expansions coming to the game. Again, Gotham Knights could be more of a platform than a game, depending on how popular it is. I do wish it had crossplay, though. I really do wish it had crossplay. Well, everybody, I think we had an amazing conversation about Gotham Knights, and it is time for us to move on. It is time for us to toy around. Bye-bye, Gotham Knights. See you next Friday. Look at this dapper gentleman. Look at this, everybody. Marvel Legends Moon Knight. So this is the comic book version, and he comes with a number of accessories. I think he looks really good. I think the price is like $24.99. I think that's what he's going for. Maybe you could get him as low as $19.99. Here's the thing, though. He is available to fans. What I mean by that is you will not find him at Target or Walmart or anything like that. It's something called the Fan Channel. So like you can get him through Hasbro Pulse. You can get him through Entertainment Earth. I believe Big Bad Toy Store. Amazon is not going to be carrying him. So... And I believe if you use code Hoarder at Entertainment Earth, it supports me. So I'd be really happy about that. And let's see, what else? If it's in stock, you get 10% off. This is a pre-order, so this isn't in stock. And then also to free shipping anything over $39. But yeah. I really like this. I think it's a very cool figure. I like how striking it is with the accents there. The moon symbol on the chest. Let me just remove that. Okay, everybody. Children of the 80s. He-Man and Skeletor from the Masters of the Universe movie. Frank Langella as Skeletor. Dolph Lundgren as He-Man, although unfortunately, apparently they couldn't get the rights to Dolph Lundgren's likeness. Now, there's a second head he comes with, which resembles more of Dolph Lundgren, but still doesn't quite look like him. but I really think the Skeletor looks great. There's like a cape and an overpiece that goes over some of his outfit. The facial sculpt is really good, very close to what he looked like in the movie. And that was something I just had to show. I believe they are $34.99. But they all come with a lot of accessories and quite a bit of details, so. Want to know how bad inflation is? Yesterday I had a nice lunch at Taco Bell. Cost me $28. That is a lie. You are lying. That is something a lie master said. My guess is, though, he didn't exactly lie, but he left out something. I think he had lunch at a Taco Bell cantina and maybe had a few drinks. Because you can get drinks there, like actual bar drinks. And that's how I think, yes, your lunch could be $28 if you had a couple drinks and, you know, like 2 burritos. And yeah, I think that's possible, sure. Goodbye, Masters of the Universe. But are we done? Are we done with the Masters of the Universe? I don't think so. I don't think we are. Because, bam! Eternia. Now, you might get sick of me bringing out Eternia all the time and be like, wait, wasn't there anything else to show this week? You're just going to show us Eternia again? It's live now. You can actually order Eternia. Eternia is live, and it needs to sell at least 5,000 for it to go into production. How much is Eternia? $600. In the US at least. $550. $50 shipping and handling fee. 'Cause it's big. It's big. It's very big. So it's between $550, well, it's $600 in the US. I think it looks amazing. It's apparently 3 feet by 4 feet, so it's gigantic. And here's the kicker. They sold half of what they needed in less than a day. They're already at over 2,600 pre-orders for this thing. Over 2,600 people have pre-ordered Eternia. I ordered them because I don't think if it hit the goal, know what the ship, I won't be mad, but I'll be upset I spent 600. Mike, I guarantee you it's going to hit the goal. They're on their first day and they're at 2,600. Oh man, 3 feet by 4 feet. Where are you going to put that? And then you're going to have to spend money to get all the cool figures, right? You aren't going to be happy with just King Grayskull, which is an exclusive right there. You can see King Grayskull standing in front of Eternia. And they announced there's going to be a moat monster as well as another figure if they sell, like, I think it's 10,000 or some other much larger number. I always wanted it. Don't put that evil on me. I'm sorry, Mike. I have never seen something this expensive have pre-orders this quickly. Like 2,600 people were like, yes, I will have this $600 Eternia. Yes, I must. But yeah, I mean, Masters of the Universe fans are wild. Like I mentioned last week, I said this is very possible this will get funded because when they had like Matty Collector, in order to get all the figures and be guaranteed all the He-Man action figures, it was like $300 or $400 a year. Like it was a subscription you could do. But it didn't charge you all at once. It basically broke everything down, I think. No, maybe it did charge you at once. I'm trying to think. But yeah, and tons of people did that. When the toys were available, like the actual window where non-subscribers could get them, they'd be gone in 5 minutes. And at that point, Digital River ran the website terribly. It was ridiculous. For every He-Man figure, instead of like $25, $27, they would cost you like 50 to 100 because you have to get them from like scalpers. Had a few of the original sets and most of the figs. I had a number of the smaller vehicles and toys. I didn't have Eternia. I didn't know anyone who had Eternia. When I was a kid, a friend of mine had Snake Mountain, which had this like megaphone, or not megaphone, it had like a snake you talked into, and it had like an echo effect. And it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. And they're actually bringing out a new version of that, like a new mold of the same Snake Mountain that's coming out too. That'll probably be much less expensive. I'm guessing that'll be 100. But yeah, Eternia, everybody. I guess you could say, Eternia your heart out. Because it's, you know, $600 and it's like pretty expensive. Well, did I flip it? I think I flipped it accidentally. I don't think I did. Okay. I thought I flipped it. But no, I mean, it's got a working monorail and multiple cars that run on the monorail. That red snake lunges. The arms in front of the giant blue lion grab enemies. There's like a trap door type of thing, and that one other tower that doesn't have a snake on it. The snakeless tower, the small one on the other side. Yeah, I think it's really cool, but I'm not anywhere near the He-Man fan that I would need to have Eternia. Like, I think it's crazy and very cool that they're doing it, but like, yeah, like the cost is the biggest, most prohibitive thing, and then the size of it, and then the fact that, you know, while I like He-Man and I think it's super cool, I'm not the biggest fan of He-Man. Well, Eternia has to go away, but Xbox Live Mike might see Eternia in, I believe it's February of 2024, when it's fully funded. Do you think a lot of the sales are scalpers? Not for this. I honestly think it's hardcore He-Man fans buying this. Yes, there will be some people looking to resell, but I don't think this is anywhere near the level of scalping you would see with something like just regular action figures or regular toys. Something that is this expensive, yeah, I don't know. Now, once it's fully funded, could it be possible scalpers are like, wow, everyone wants this thing, let's do it? Sure. But scalpers aren't going to do 10 or 12 of these probably. They're going to do 2. They might do 3. It's not going to be... Where do you store it? Let's say you're a scalper on this. Where do you even begin to store it? Everybody, it is time for us to stop toying around. We'll toy around again next week, but it's time to stop toying around. Oh, real quick shout out, Batman, the animated series right there. If you see right next to my miniature arcade machine. So it lights up and everything, and yeah, I just got that. Target exclusive. Looks really nice. So yeah, there's that. Now, we're going to go into the future because we're done toying around. All the way to 1 week from today. Everybody, you know Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. But do you know Deadly Neighborhood Spider-Man? So apparently Spider-Man goes to Los Angeles and has to deal with demons in Deadly Neighborhood Spider-Man. And that comes out next week. I don't know if it's something like to tie in with Halloween. I believe it's a 5-issue limited series, or at least this story arc I think is 5 issues. But yeah, it sounds like it's going to be about magic and the occult, and it mentions a very popular Marvel demon showing up. So who knows? It could be like Dormammu or something like that. We don't know. We don't know. But apparently a demon's going to show up. But yeah, Deadly Neighborhood Spider-Man. So if you want to get your Halloween on with Spidey, this might be the best choice. So, Deadly Neighborhood Spider-Man comes out next week. When I look at the stars above, why must I be a Hellboy in love? Hellboy in Love. Mike Mignola, new Hellboy. Basically, Hellboy meets an archaeologist, and there's a train involved, and he's trying to save her life. She's trying to do the archaeology thing. It's a limited series. I want to say it's, 5 issues, 1 of 5. Apparently this first arc, Goblin Knight, is only 2 issues, though. So I don't know if it's 2 arcs in 5 issues or how they're doing it exactly. But this is reason to be excited. It's Mike Mignola, Christopher Golden, and it's Hellboy in Love. If you're a fan of Hellboy, here's some new Hellboy for you. So a lot of it's like the side characters that get books and things. It's very rare when there's actually a new Hellboy series or book. So, Hellboy in Love. The Penguin. Okay? Not just the Penguin. The Penguin in Batman One Bad Day. Penguin. Okay? There's been a whole mess of Batman One Bad Days. Well, not a whole mess. There's been like 2 or 3 so far. This one is going to be by John Ridley, current Wisconsin native, and current writer of Black Panther. Also founded a television/movie production house here in Milwaukee. So this is really cool. This is really cool. I'm looking forward to seeing his take on Penguin. I think it's going to be awesome. I love that cover. There's some variant covers as well, but I really do like that one a lot. So that's probably the big book I'm looking forward to. I might actually review that one next week. There's a really good chance I'll review that one. Possibly Hellboy, but I think this is going to be like 64 pages. This might be one of those situations where I just do a slightly longer review and it's only one book. I'm not quite sure yet. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Okay, everybody. It is now time for me to prime the pump. And as I say, make the stupid joke every week, I'm not playing a ghost piano. I'm priming the pump for your questions, for your suggestions, books you want to see me review, toys you want me to talk about, just about anything for the show that would make sense in the confines of this show. So I like to set that up, give you some time to do that, as I will do the final review for today, which is Batman versus Robin, number 2. So, this storyline spins off of World's Finest. I want to say it's issues 1 through 5, where Batman and Superman are against a terrifying villain known as the Devil Nezha. And the Devil Nezha is the demon that's talked about when you talk about the League of Assassins. Like the literal demon. As we know, Ra's al Ghul is not the demon. He's the demon's head. Here's the demon, the devil Nezha. And we find out in this issue that the devil Nezha is using Damian and basically his relationship with his great-grandmother, who's also, of course, Ra's al Ghul's mother, using that against him. And Batman ends up in the House of Mystery with Cain and Abel. Now, what's exciting about that is that goes to Vertigo Comics. That goes like to Sandman and other books. I think even Hellblazer, I think, with John Constantine. All those different like books, that's part of it. So while in the House of Mystery, Batman and Alfred are finding out what has been happening with Damian and the devil Nezha. They basically see like after images of things that occurred already. And they go through that as well as some nightmarish circumstances. At one point, they almost drown in the liquid that's in the Lazarus pits. I don't know if they've ever called that anything. I don't think it's called like Lazarus juice or anything like that. Whatever you call that stuff, they almost drown in it. Then there's a part where these itty bitty demons like are crawling all over them. It's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. You also get an answer as to what's going on with Alfred being back, even though he ended up dying in the Tom King run. So yeah, I don't want to ruin that for you, but you get an answer there. And I think this book is great. I believe it's still Mark Waid, if I recall. Hold on. Let's enlarge this. I want to be able to answer. Yes. Mark Waid has been doing really well with World's Finest and this now. And I think it's been great. Also, I'm a fan of Damian. And you get Clarion the Witch Boy. And you get a whole mess of interesting and scary magic-related characters, because the whole thing is the devil Nezha, we find out, has been finding their like items of power, I guess you could say, and draining the magic from them. Also recruiting a lot of magic users, and basically what seems like to be a war against, non-magic users. But it's been great. And this is issue 2. This is 5 or 6 issues, this storyline. But I've loved each one so far. Again, only 2 so far, but they've both been fantastic. Now, everybody, because that is the final review for today, do we have any suggestions? Did I accurately prime the pump? Did I do a good job of priming the pump? Do we have any suggestions? Any books you want me to review? Any books you want me to talk about in future? Any toys you want me to talk about? Trying to think what the next Marvel show would be after She-Hulk. Like what's actually going to air. Any suggestions? It appears I did a terrible job priming the pump. I am a bad pump primer, it would seem. But that is okay. That is okay. Next time, I think I might do it before I even talk about next week's books. Because also, too, there seems to be a little bit of a delay from typing, too. Oh, no, just asking about, like, future comics for me to look at or review, or any toy lines anyone wants me to talk about. Anything like that. Misplaced. That's the fun and excitement of being live, as well as the nerve-wracking part of it. Yeah, I'd say there's a really good chance, so I'll be reviewing John Ridley's Batman, the One Bad Day, the Penguin, very good chance of that. Because I'm very much looking forward to reading it. When they had to solicit like 2 or 3 months ago, I was like, that sounds amazing. Don't know if it's still able to purchase, but ISOM is actually a good new comic. I read book 1. ISOM? Give me 1 second here. One moment. ISOM 1, okay. Let me type in ISOM in comic book because it keeps wanting to do isometrical. It keeps wanting to... Oh, okay, it's from the Rippaverse. I think it was like a Kickstarter type of thing. I know my shop didn't get it in. And some of those things some of those books they can get in, but I know I didn't see it. Was it an Indiegogo? I thought it was a crowdfunding situation. Oh, see, I thought he crowdfunded. Pre-order to buy, okay. Well, I'll see if I can find a copy of that then. I'll put my feelers out. So we got ISOM number 1. Do we have any other books that anyone wants me to check out? Or any toys you want me to talk about like next week or anything? I mean, there's no way I can not have any Gotham Knights news next week because it comes out next Friday. So I know that'll be part of the show. So I have some idea roughly of what some of the stuff in the show will be, but not everything. And everybody, I just want to thank Doomkiller HD for the use of the channel. Thank you very much. And I am a proud member of Doom Squad Gaming. I believe this weekend, I think we have our wrap-up, our weekly wrap-up. I would be shocked if we didn't talk about Gotham Knights on a weekly wrap-up. I'd be surprised. Oh yeah, I'm not gonna buy unofficial copies. But yes, everybody, I want to thank you very much. Who knows? Maybe Doom Squad Gaming will do something involving Ghostbusters. Who knows? It seems like I don't know. It seems like a game that if a number of us got, we could play. Supposedly it's cross-play. Sounds pretty cool. But everybody, thank you very much for watching. And you can also catch me on twitch.tv/Hoardergamer. Twitch.tv/Hoardergamer. And currently I'm doing Cyberpunk 2077. I'll be doing a Plague Tale Requiem, but that'll be next week when that comes out. And of course, I'll be starting Gotham Knights on Friday. Thank you, Misplaced. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I greatly appreciate it. And I will see you next week. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.